Bachelor off-season is almost over, and with it being just a few weeks away from the premiere of the Bachelorette 2-for-1 special with Gabby and Rachel, we have finally received our first look at the new season with actual footage from the show. Which means it's time now to dust off our sleuthing caps and break down the latest footage to see what's in store for us come July, and if there are any clues as to what might go down and who Gabby or Rachel will end up with. And believe it or not, we do get a few juicy clues in this brief first look. So if you're new to these videos, there's really only one rule. Please refrain from posting any outright spoilers for the season in the comment section below, unless you've been able to sleuth it out. And if you want to watch the full uninterrupted preview, a link to that is in the description.
You're about to date the most men we've ever had.
We're here for that.
Hey, Bachelor Nation. Here we go.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay, so apart from getting a peek at Gabby and Rachel on night 1 before the limos arrive, this first look preview is gonna have a bunch of shots of the men dancing around in this white void. It's something they always do when a new season is being introduced, so I'm gonna fast forward through all of this to get to the actual footage.
Love is here. I'm ready. Let's do it.
Alright, pausing here to point out a couple of things. First off, this is the moment in every season where the lead, or leads in this case, make a toast to the journey ahead once all the contestants finish their limo entrances. And speaking of, here we can already see a few gimmicks. For instance, shirtless Jacob right here, who Jesse mentioned would be showing off his pecs this season in the Meet the Men livestream. And there, Jesse also mentioned this.
Jacob will have what probably might go down as one of the greatest all-time entrances on the show. I don't want to give too much away. I don't want to spoil it. I'll give you a hint though. You're going to want to put your money on this pony.
So he's either coming out on a pony, or better yet, doing a Chippendales strip routine to Pony by Genuine. But also in this shot, you can spot this giant meatball sub, which has to be the doing of James, the quote meatball enthusiast. Something else that we learned in Jesse Palmer's Meet the Men livestream, which, by the way, I did a whole video on predicting how far I thought each guy would go, and who they'd be interested in, Rachel or Gabby, based solely off what Jesse Palmer said about them. But alright, let's now fast forward through some more dancing men to get to actual date footage.
I've literally, in my entire life, never had a connection like that.
I'm falling in love with her. Like, it's a crazy feeling.
I'm just so convinced that she's my future wife.
Alright, pausing here because now we've got some quality shots to point out. First is this date with a man who appears to be Avon. And to me, this shot screams post-one-on-one makeout, mainly due to the heavy fireworks in the background. Cause this kind of firework display is an incredibly common sight to see right at the end of a one-on-one date after a rose has been handed out. It's something that we see literally every season. The only thing we don't know is when in this season this happens. Could be the very first one-on-one, could be right at the end. Still, because of this, we'll be marking down Avon as one to watch with Rachel. After that though, it's Gabby's turn for a makeout sesh, this time with someone who I think is Eric, and I'll tell you more about why later on. This shot, however, is slightly less valuable than the previous one with Avon, as we can't rule out that this is only from night 1. Even so, that still means Eric could be making a good first impression and will almost certainly be sticking around for a few episodes at least. And at most, he could be in contention for Gabby's first impression rose. Which, speaking of, check out our next shot of Rachel and a man that I think is Tino. Now, something you might not have caught the first time you watched it in this very quick shot of them smooching is this nice little rose sticking out right here. Meaning Tino is going to be getting Rachel's first impression rose, as her outfit here matches the one we saw earlier with her and Gabby from night 1, waiting for the limos to arrive. And this is something that, if you've been watching the show or this channel for a while, you'll know is a huge deal on The Bachelorette. Typically, the person who receives the Bachelorette's first impression rose is going very far in a season, if not winning. Of course, there are exceptions to this, and on The Bachelor with the male leads, it's often the opposite, with the first impression rose recipient pretty much never winning, but regardless, with this, we can now put Tino on our radar as one to watch out for as more previews come out. But alright, let's move on.
There's gonna be some competitiveness, there's gonna be some tears, there's gonna be some heartbreak.
What even happened?
Are you gonna sulk about it, or are you gonna go out and fight for it?
Okay, so here we've been given some pretty low value shots, like this one with Quincy, another shot of Avon, here with Grocery Store Joe, and then Jacob once again. And I say low value as these all look like moments from early on in the season when they're still at Bachelor Mansion. We also know absolutely none of the context around these shots. Sure, Hayden here looks to be in tears, or Avon seems pretty upset, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're in trouble or getting dumped. For all we know, Avon here could be listening to James talk about his meatballs for the 700th time, thus the pained face. Still, we're gonna mark these shots down because you never know what might help us down the line. But let's now finish off this preview and then move into some bonus footage given to us from the Bachelorette Twitter and Instagram pages.
I think Gabby and I will finally get our happy ending. We're ready.
Alright, and that's the end of this first preview, and I mainly wanted to show this section right here because we get a better look at Eric in this shot. Something that matches this makeout shot with Gabby right here. So it seems to confirm that this is night 1 and that Eric could be a frontrunner for the other first impression rose handed out that night. But we'll see. We still don't know how things are going to work this season and what the rules are going to be with 2 bachelorettes the whole time. Though at least we do have a good bit of info on some of the men to watch early on. But before we finish up, we do have one more small preview to look at, one that can be viewed on the Bachelorette Instagram or Twitter page. Now, this preview is accompanied by Shania Twain's Man I Feel Like a Woman, something I can't play on this video, so instead, please enjoy this preview with a cheap imitation. And if you're watching this later and it's suddenly muted, know that Shania got to me. Okay, so there you go. Now, in this preview, there are a few things I want to point out, like in the first couple of shots here with Tyler and Rachel shooting arcade-style hoops, or Gabby with Alec popping some champagne. Neither of these moments are from night 1. Gabby's dress and Rachel's outfit are both different from what they're wearing night 1, meaning expect Tyler and Alec to at least make it a few episodes. We also get Rachel and Gabby by a plane, which makes total sense considering Rachel's a pilot, and then there are a few one-on-one moments. Going in order, we start with Gabby and Johnny D. Something we can figure out by noting the tattoo on his back, and then heading over to the men's Instagram pages. On Johnny's page, we can see a matching tattoo right here, which means Johnny will likely be getting some sort of spa one-on-one date at some point in the season. Though I do suppose this could be from a group date. Then we get a repeat of the shot we saw earlier with Avon, followed by another shot with Rachel and, again, a man that seems to match Avon. Now, I will say it's certainly possible that these two shots are from the same date, but I'm thinking otherwise. First off, you can see in this setting we're obviously in some sort of warm location, but this location has trees that have lost their leaves, not to mention Rachel's thicker coat. So, could this be a colder location? Maybe, maybe not, but it sure seems like Avon might be getting a second one-on-one with Rachel. And normally, that would mean he makes it at least to the episode before Hometowns, as that's typically, but not exclusively, the first time a person gets a second one-on-one in a season. But remember, we still don't know what the rules will be for a season with 2 leads. My question is, will there be less one-on-ones per lead because there are 2 of them? If so, having footage on 2 different dates with Rachel could be a really, really good sign for Avon. Then finally, we have a helicopter one-on-one with Nate and Gabby. But if this is indeed the helicopter they're flying in, it's possible they are still in LA or California here, meaning this would be a one-on-one from when they're still at Bachelor Mansion, and thus early in the season. So there you have it, our first look at Rachel and Gabby's double Bachelorette season. I hope you enjoyed this preview breakdown, and if you did, be sure to give the video a like, comment down below with your thoughts and theories, and subscribe for more, as we've got a lot of content ahead with a new season right around the corner. So, until next time, Bachelor Fantake, out.
You're about to date the most men we've ever had.
We're here for that. We're ready.